What's good, everybody? It's your boy Hans.
And this is Tristan.
Welcome to the Hans and Tristan podcast. That was a subdued This is Tristan. You tired?
I'm super tired.
No, I'm trying to put your cute, innocent voice on. We know better.
It's finna be cuffing season. I gotta.
Yeah, tone it down.
Exactly. I can't be all like, what?
No, okay, got it. So Tristan, your boy's about to get married, man.
No.
Your boy's about to get married. For those that don't know, jumping over the broom, getting a ball and chain, whatever other metaphors and sayings you want to say this week coming up. So with that being said, we will not be recording next week. So the Hans and Tristan podcast will be taking a break, a much needed break for 1 week. So please bear with us, catch up on some episodes that you missed. So just to give you guys a heads up, also we'll be announcing it on our social media pages as well, so you guys can remember and don't feel like we gypped you or anything like that. But your boy is taking a long overdue vacation.
I've been trying to get you to vacate for about 25, 11 years right now.
Here you go. I always gotta throw somebody under the bus.
Listen,
better late than never. Okay.
Facts. That is
better
true.
late than never.
That is
so. But yeah, I am going to disconnect and chill.
Congratulations.
Thank you, on somebody's island. So
don't come looking for him.
Yes, don't come find me. But we're gonna jump right into it today. So I know, Tristan, you keep up with the drama on the celebrity shows.
I was slipping on this one.
So for those who don't know, there's a video that's been circulating on social media, has gone somewhat viral, of Tahiri. That's how you pronounce her name, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I only know her, honestly, just because she's in relation to Joe Buttons.
Right.
So I know they were together, correct? If I'm not mistaken. Right. Were they married?
No, they wasn't married. But
okay.
She was with him. I remember seeing her on Love and Hip Hop New York when he, got on or whatever. And they were, love interest, whatever. So yeah, like that's how I was introduced to her as well.
Exactly. So I was on IG and I saw the video. So it was a taping of the marriage boot camp, and they were having some type of discussion. And I guess her husband, because it's marriage boot camp, right? I guess I do to her.
Well, no, because it's people who like just in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like I like Soulja Boy and Teddy Riley's daughter. I don't think they were married, but they were on.
Okay. So I guess her significant other, I'm sorry.
Right.
They were in an argument, and he lunged out towards her and like grabbed her by the shirt and looked like he was choking her out. The camera cut and everything, and the host, I think, came in and kind of separated him. So that clip came out first, of course.
Right.
Started going viral. People were commenting on it. People were disgusted. I think Tank, who's very kind of active on IG, he said it's disgusting that only one man stood up to kind of defend her.
I think that was actually security.
Right. So he voiced that, and other people kind of echoed the same sentiment as well. Wow, look at these guys just kind of watch this happen and everything.
But are we not surprised? How many times have we seen that play out?
Exactly. So not maybe 3 or a couple of days later, another video comes out of another incident between Tahiri and the dude.
And it looked like it was the same day because they had the same outfits on.
No, it was the same day. I think it was before they came to that meeting. So I think how it goes is they all sit behind the green. They call it backstage, right? You sit backstage and everybody talks and everything before they have to meet individually as a couple with the host. So they're all backstage, and Tahiri and this gentleman were getting into it again. And she, I'm not gonna lie, in the video, she was an aggressor, that part. She was the aggressor. She was standing up, yelling, and there was a big old basket of fruit, apples and oranges. And at the end of it, she hurled an apple at him and hit him dead in the face. And she threw like two.
So like she was pitching for the Yankees.
Listen, that was a fastball down the middle.
Landed both of them joints.
Yeah, so that happened before, and he posted that. So it brings up this conversation. I know we've talked about domestic violence before in this show. We've actually done it as recent as 2 episodes ago. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how this comes up again, and it brings up the same issues that we've been talking about, right? How it's been made it's been sensationalized as something that just is supposed to happen, that we're okay with happening in relationships, especially when you talk about people who are quote unquote celebrities. And also justification that's being put out there for engaging in physical contact with your significant other. Right. So I thought, it's something, I thought it's something that we should discuss. And I just kind of wanted to know about your thoughts on the situation, when you saw it and what you think about it in regards to, just relationships and mental health in general.
Well, I was watching it while I was talking to you, and I'm just like, you already know me. You can't even yell at me. So I mean, you physically touching my person in a volatile manner does not sit well with me at all, right? But also we have to, we talk about toxic masculinity, but we got to talk about toxic femininity as well, where we brainwash women into thinking that it's okay for you to hit a guy, put your hands on a guy, and think there's not going to be a retaliation because we teach men not to hit women. And you got to understand that all men aren't raised that way. So I think everybody just need to keep their hands to themselves, and you should not be in a relationship where violence is a consistent go-to when there's a disagreement. Like, that's not okay at all in any manner. So when I'm watching, I'm just like, clearly, if they're comfortable doing this in front of an audience, this is nothing new.
Exactly.
So, that's on y'all whole ass. So this ain't nothing new.
That's the first thing that came to mind. If he felt bold enough or empowered or emboldened enough to do that on camera, what has he done off camera?
Right.
What has he done? Yeah, what have they done? Because I was just like, wow, really, dude? Like, you really just on camera just went at her like that? Right. And what she was saying, at least in the clip, wasn't anything to me out of context, because now we were given further context given the previous video. But what she said in that moment wasn't even that inflammatory to me for you to reach out and try to...
because he didn't recover from the first incident, which was the apple throwing situation.
The Applegate.
Listen, he didn't recover from that. So he was harboring from that. And then he was just waiting for the opportune time to attack for it, to me, which is a sucker move. Because if you're in an altercation and you defend yourself, it's totally one thing as opposed to waiting till someone's guards are down. And that's what they seem like they both did. They waited till the other person's guard was down to attack, which again, to me, is just like, what are we doing here? And then she made a comment before she threw apples at him, like, she would, like, whatever she did, she would deserve to get shot. And I'm like, what
level of crazy for me is this?
Right, like, what are we talking about, shooting each other? Like, is we motherfucking goddamn Megan Thee Stallion in them? Like, what are we doing in our relationships where we regurgitate all this volatile behavior amongst our counterparts? Like, this is the person you lay next to, and you got to sleep with one eye open because they might bomb you with apples in the middle of the night, Bro. Or they might shoot you, or they might like, no, I can't live life like that. I'm sorry. But that's just me.
It was hard, and to me, it shows that they both play a role in the toxic environment in that relationship. Just for me, and how they responded to the videos and how they kind of basically were blaming the other person.
Right.
Like, none of them took accountability for what they did. Now, the dude did, but it was because he was pressured by cancel culture. That's the only reason he took it. He didn't even take full. He was still kind of low key. You know how people low key justify what they did?
Oh,
that's what he was doing.
Like,
and I hate that too.
Sorry,
like,
or you're going to be defensive, but you can't do both.
You
can't defend yourself and still be apologetic in the same breath.
Thank you. Pick one side, bro. You either going to ride with what you did. Yeah, I choked her out and she deserved it. Like, say that.
And either way, I would respect, like, if you stand in what you did, I respect it. Doesn't mean it's right at all. Me respecting what you did doesn't mean it's right. But at the end of the day, it's like, why are we even teaching these kind of behavior? Like, where does this stem from? Because me personally, again, you yell at me or you want a name call, I can't do that. I gotta go. I don't have time for that. So you even putting your hands on me is a definite hell no. Because I'm not touching you. I'm walking away. I don't mind taking that L. And to me, that's not an L. That's just me being a bigger person. But that takes a level of maturity.
No, that's exactly right. And most people don't see that. They're so caught up in their pride and they feel like they have to do something now to one up you because you have hurt their pride in some way. And I think that's what he was experiencing. He's in his head, like you said, hadn't recovered from the apple being thrown on his face, square in the face, like boom, no reflexes, full on face apple. Like, he didn't recover from that. And then she's smarting off again and she's upstaging you again and being verbally, I guess, a little aggressive. And you're like, wow, twice? Like, I got to do something now. And the only thing you could resort to was lunging at her physically. But I kind of want to get into the reactions and how it's being played out. So I was in the comment section in the shade room. Not gonna lie, I was in there just kind of see what everybody's temperature was and
You
how
gotta
they
read
were
all
reacting to it.
75,000 comments.
Listen, man, it'd be
That be
crazy in those
me.
comment sections. It'd be crazy. But like I said, I did notice Tank was saying, it's interesting. He's discussing how other men, didn't step up and didn't go in. And I'm kind of 50-50 on that just because I know a lot of this reality show is scripted. Does that make sense? A lot of it is scripted. So if you kind of know what's going to happen, you let it happen for the basis of the show. How many times have we seen reunions where they kind of know security's coming and they kind of wait for security and then they lunge?
Yeah, but I don't think that was this.
No, I'm not saying that was that. But like for me, I was kind of 50-50 just because I
Yeah.
know the reality world is different, right?
scripted,
Yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, and still I kind of see where he was coming from, right? So where are we kind of protecting our women? But then on the other side too, like I feel like women also have a responsibility to keep each other in check as well too. So where were the women trying to calm her down or stop her from throwing throwing the apples? How come they didn't step in and say, yo, sis, like chill, like, that's not happening. And I would hope to see more of that in the comment section, but I just see sides and lines being drawn. And
Absolutely.
I think that's the wrong approach. That's
right,
the
but
wrong
it becomes
approach.
complex when you coexist with someone you don't know. Like if you're forced to live in a house with someone you honestly don't know, right? Because I'm gonna be real with you, it's times that I've seen people like in my neighborhood, like straight couples wrecking, and I'll be like, y'all need to chill, or before somebody call the police, and they'll turn around and gang up on me, and I'll be like, time out. That's what the fuck we ain't gonna do, because I light this bitch up like the 4th of July. No, that's what the fuck we ain't gonna do, because I'm trying to look out for y'all asses so y'all don't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So it's complex because you have that initial self-preservation, right? But then it's like you're dealing with people you honestly don't know how they're going to respond. So if you could be violent towards your significant other, how would you genuinely respond to someone you don't know who's really
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Also, right, and also like how much is it a responsibility on us to deal with other people's relationships and their problems?
Right.
Like how much is, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be real with you. If I saw a couple arguing, I wouldn't intervene. Now if it got physical and like he was like doing something, I might intervene. Like, yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna step in then, right? So, but initially, like if a dude's cussing out a chick or anything like that, I'm not gonna stop. I'll stay by just to see, like, because if he has like an aggressive stance, I might linger just to see, like, all right, I know he ain't gonna swing or nothing like that, but I'm not gonna intervene at the cussing and the berating. You get what I mean? Because I also feel like there's also lines and boundaries that we have to respect as well. And I think we have to understand the context and the environment that they were in that whole, reality show environment. Like there's security measures there too. So if there's security there, isn't that security's job to intervene
as well? Like say if you see something pop up in a club, you're not gonna go because you're like, well shit, this is security. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like it's a difference if you have an intimate relationship with a couple that is showing their ass. You know what I'm saying? Because I will admit, I've been a couple that showed my ass, not to the point where it's been physical, but the yelling, screaming, showing my ass or whatever. And I've had friends intervene and be like, nah, chill, he ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes difficult when you don't really know the couple or have a relationship or you're not invested in their relationship. But I just don't believe in, again, witnessing, because you got to understand, you're not only hurting your partner, but you could be triggering those watching you. Those people who are watching y'all hit on each other, like you could sit here be triggering them and putting things into, like, nobody wants to see that. I came to therapy because it's supposed to be a safe space, and this is you and your significant other are no longer making this a safe space. So therapeutically, it's like y'all gotta go because y'all not even abiding by what needs to be happening here. But I'm the same way when it comes to like parents. Like you see parents all the time cussing their kids out. Like last night at Genesis Skate Ring, I swear every parent that was leaving there was cussing their kids out. And I was like, see, I get it. These motherfuckers don't listen. But it becomes a difference when, like you said, they, become aggressive and volatile or whatever the case may be. Like, it's drastically different.
Yeah, and I do agree with you, though, that self-preservation, too, has to come into mind because at the end of the day, they could turn around and get up on you, and then that's a whole different situation. And you're going to have to take it up another level because, like you said, what you're not going to do is come at me. And then you got to think about who you with, too, right? So, because if I'm with my significant other, right, because I'm always mindful about that. So if I'm with my significant other, I see something pop off, if it's not something I feel like I can handle fully and may involve her, I might fall back. Now, you know my girl, she's fully capable of handling herself. Miami-Dade County all day, she got hands. But I also feel like it's my responsibility to manage that as well. You get what I mean? Just like her too. She's not going to jump in nothing that she thinks could definitely, you know, put us, but at the same time, we have to be accountable for each other. So I could see guys like processing that as well too. Like, okay, I bet if I jump into this, is she gonna have to fight with her too? You get what I mean? Like, so that's gonna be a situation. You know, it's very much complex, and I don't think in that situation, in the video we saw, it's
cookie cutter situation.
Yeah, it's not black and white. It's not. The only thing for me that is black and white is that, yo, under no circumstances hands should have been put on each other, and she ain't had to throw nothing like that at him, because you're only further
apples, and then you get 2. So the first one wasn't good enough.
And the first one hit point blank.
Boom, bow. And then he had the glasses on, so I know they did a little shift over. Like,
his head did boom, just like.
And then you do the second one, like, why are you in a relationship where you are making statements about, yeah, if he shoot me, it would be justified? What the fuck? Why is that even on the table?
Right.
Shooting each other. Why is that on the table?
And there's a common misconception that I think we should address here on this show as therapists, right? Oftentimes you hear the misconception that arguing is healthy for a relationship. Yes, but it's a type of arguing. Does that make sense?
Fighting. Right. It's fair
fighting. There's levels to this. It has to be a discussion of going back and forth, engaging both sides kind of argument.
They got to be solution focused.
Right. Not a berating, you know, a barrage of belittlement of any. That's not effective. That's not constructive. That's not constructive. So understand, yes, you may see a therapist and you say, hey, we're arguing, and they might come off with the whole cliche like, okay, well, arguing is actually normal in relationships, but understand there's levels to this as well. Does that make sense? Absolutely. So that what we're telling you about, what we're talking about, what happened with Tahiri and her significant other, that's not a sign of a functional relationship. That's a sign of dysfunction.
That was straight assault and battery.
No, yes, that's exactly what that was.
And that's what we have to, like you said, that misconception.
Yes, that's maladaptive coping with anger. That's exactly what that is. So I definitely want to put that out there too. So for people who think like we're saying you're supposed to have an argument-free or conflict-free relationship, no, we're not subscribing to that. That's not realistic. No relationship on earth has had that. It's just people are people. You're different. You're going to have points where you don't agree, and you're going to have to get through that. What we're saying is there's a way to get through it. Just like we were talking about fair fighting, there has to be open communication, opportunities for both sides to talk. It has to be coming together towards a common goal. You have to be working, like you said, solution focused. You have to be working towards something together. Right. Now, what we saw there was an attack on both sides. They were just attacking each other.
And that's the thing people need to understand is like with the whole argument situation, you have to figure out why you're engaging. Are you engaging because you have this aggression that you're trying to get out? Or are you engaging to genuinely trying to get to a resolution? Those are two drastically different things. And many times we see people continue to engage in altercations because they're not settled with the resolution, or they're not settled with the conclusion. So they keep it going because they feel like they need to still get their shit off or whatever.
Right.
Like, I remember as a parent, sometimes we do it too. How many times you punish your kid, right? And then you still run the house 2 hours later, still cussing, yelling, and screaming because you still need to get your shit off, right? But that's how it is as human beings. But you cannot continue to browbeat that person because you're not handling your own emotions effectively.
No, that's definitely on point. It actually reminds me of a session I had last week with a client, and we were discussing the difference between being angry, and bitter. Those are not the same.
At all.
Those are not the same, right? Anger is an emotion that we all experience and that we can all go through, right? But bitterness, that's not something we all experience. Bitterness is, to me, a result, or it comes from not handling your anger appropriately. Being angry, I can be angry at Tristan for not doing something and effectively communicate that and be like, Tristan, this is what I'm angry at you about. Or I can even talk to myself and be like, Hans, this is why you're angry. She didn't do this. You had this expectation. Being bitter is not only being angry, but also attacking.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between experiencing anger and being bitter. Bitter is you have a revengeful mindset or an attacking mindset, and it's not about resolution. It's all about soothing or taming that anger. Yes, it's all about retaliation. So I do want to make that clear. Like, understand, when you're angry, that doesn't necessarily always mean you're bitter.
Right.
Those two are not the same. So I did want to put that out there because I think you gave a good example that kind of relates to that as well, because we have to be able to make that distinction too, because there's a lot of times where you'll see on social media that there's this kind of culture of vengeance, like of just being vengeful after a bad breakup. Like it's a whole culture like within itself,
Why
and
you
it's
got that much
promoting.
energy? Like,
Right,
I'm just
right.
like,
It's really promoting that whole bitterness and that dark cloud that you just start to live in. And people don't understand that festers and can turn into other things. Just like I
right,
know you saw that viral clip of that girl blowing up the guy's Jeep.
ma'am, your whole face gone now because you want to sit here and be blowing us my shit. Like, and then my thing is, you got to understand and you got to be able to intervene those thoughts in your head, right? Because at that point, you're doing nothing but telling yourself negative shit. Oh, these motherfuckers ain't about to play me. And who the fuck they think that? Like, this is the shit that's going on in your head, what makes you feel like you got to retaliate to gain control of the situation. But isn't the best control or gaining control is walking away? Like, and why don't we teach that? Like, we teach like walking away as if it's a submission thing when it's really not. It's you controlling yourself and not allowing external stimuli to affect you. And that's how I understand. On top of the fact that people have to be mindful of their defense mechanisms, right? Because many times niggas kick it up a notch to get somebody off their ass, right? So many times people lash out and become volatile and aggressive, not because of retaliation, but because somebody's hitting on the nerve that they don't want to, address at that point. So they're like, oh, if I show my ass, they're going to let it go. And it's just like, why are we doing all this? Like, what is we doing? We gonna be cuddling, canoodling and shit, and y'all sitting here throwing apples and choking each other out.
Right, and blowing up cars.
And blowing up cars and shooting niggas in the toe. What is going on?
Right. But what I will say though is I think what's not being addressed on the other part of that walking away is how that's a higher process and a maturing process. Ooh. And we don't frame it as that. We don't frame it as actually takes more to get yourself under control and to see a thought or an emotion all the way through, because that's what we're supposed to do with emotions, is process, not react. But that's a whole nother story. You're supposed to process through your emotions.
It does take maturity. And it's complex, right? Because you have to reprogram your brain, because think of everything we've been taught. Like, you have a kindergarten mama, like, motherfucker hit you hit them back. In pre-K, y'all sitting here tagging each other and shit. Like, we train this in our children to always defend themselves physically, but then we don't prep them to defend themselves verbally or mentally and emotionally, right? So understanding that it's okay to walk away, and you have to have a certain mind frame. And this is what I teach my daughter, right? Sometimes you gotta walk away because shit is beneath you. Not that person or whatever, or their feelings, but just in how that is being handled, that's beneath you. And when they're ready to step up and handle it in a mature way, that's when you readdress the situation. But it's many times where I've engaged in people and they start name calling, I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I let it go, because we could talk about the facts or we could sit here and insult each other, but I ain't got that kind of energy to do that.
No, yeah. At some point, you'll mature to the point where you realize your time and energy is valuable, and you actually have a decision of what you entertain or not. Not every issue requires your engagement. So I think it's when you get to that point, you start to see the value in walking away and how it's a second order kind of thinking, one that's just above the basis of just reacting. So you start to level up, in other words. And I think that we're not teaching that. We're not teaching that second order, right? We're giving the baby food. Yes, somebody hits you. Yes, essentially you're supposed to defend yourself. That's what we're teaching, right? But that's basic. We need to level up too. So people are always going to come at you. They're not going to come at you physically. Sometimes they come at you, like you said, emotionally, verbally. You have to learn how to defend yourself in those orders, in those spheres of life as well. But we don't do that. And also, we promote retaliation. We promote
like,
vengeance.
You gonna let that motherfucker do that to you?
Exactly.
Like,
we promote that because it's engaging. It's what we like to see. It's entertaining. We don't understand. Real life is real life. That girl who blew up that Jeep is in jail right now. Dude is chilling.
Whole face gone.
Ed just burned out. Dude is chilling right now. Don't get his insurance money. You get what I mean? You just risk your life and livelihood over this? Was that worth it? And I don't even know if she has kids, right? Because that's even a whole nother story. If you have kids, who's gonna watch your kids? Are the kids taken by the system? I don't know anything, because honestly, I didn't care to dive into that, because that was just straight foolishness for me. I was like, I just hope she got caught. That's all I said when I saw it. I hope she got caught. And she did. I think it happened in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, near Detroit. But I say that to say we have to be mindful too of what we're promoting and what we're exposing ourselves to and our children. I know you have kids, so you always have to do the process of basically translating a lot of things to your daughter. Now I know Genesis, she's smart and she can catch on to a lot of things, but early on you have that responsibility of saying, yeah, that's cool, but in real life, that's not how that goes down.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean?
Because
And
at the end
people
of the
have
day,
to
you hit
understand
somebody
that.
back, guess what? That's still assault.
Exactly. So just like we're seeing, yeah, it's cool she threw an apple and it's funny it hit him square in the face, but in real life, that's not how that goes down.
At all. And that's the
That's
thing,
not how that
like,
goes
people
down.
need to understand that motherfuckers get locked up for lesser shit. Like, let's be real.
Listen.
And understanding that, like, if someone is jeopardizing your freedom, like, I'm first person to tell you, like, somebody walk through that motherfucking door and jeopardize me and mine, oh, I'm laying a nigga down. But what I'm not going to do is lay your ass down because you cheat on me or you break up with me or, like, because it's not worth it. In my brain, that's an L you're taking because I'm a motherfucking win all day. But you got to see, so you got for real, but you got to think so
That's
highly
real
of
talk,
yourself
though.
not to engage in certain fuckery. And that takes a level of self-esteem, self-awareness, and maturity that a lot of people don't have. And it took me a while to get there because, you know me, I be out there knucking if you bucking in my 20s, baby. Tristan be ready for the fuckery. But now I'm a little older, my back and my knees and shit. But also, it's just like, I got more shit to lose. I got way
That's
more
exactly
shit to lose. So why would I'm not going to engage with a person who doesn't have the same amount of shit to lose that I have. I don't care if it's a relationship or friendship or business partner. If you don't have as much to lose as I have, then you are going to be more reckless than me. And I don't have time for that. And then two, I'm not going to sit here and put myself in a situation. You see these red flags all day. But we get, and I'm speaking from my perspective and a female's perspective, right? Sometimes we get so consumed with the time we invested that it's hard for us to walk away because we're like, no, I put so much time into this, and ain't no female going, come up on what I done. Sis, walk the fuck away because it ain't worth it.
No, that's deep though, because so many times we hear about time wasted. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I've said this before on this show, and I said in person, I don't believe in time being wasted when it comes to relationships because I feel like you learn. Okay, I learned from this. I'm gonna keep it moving.
But that's if your process is open to learning from certain.
Right. But you bring up a powerful narrative that I feel like a lot of our younger listeners and younger people or generation are dealing with right now. What do I do in the aftermath of a bad breakup? Right? What am I supposed to do? How do I properly, kind of get over this and not follow the common trends of vengeful action? Make him miss you. Make him want you. You know what I mean? Like,
and men don't function like that because the very moment you go sit here trying to make him jealous by another man, he already done wrote your ass off. Because men don't function like that.
Right, and to me, that's feeding into a cycle of perpetual hurt and pain. It doesn't promote healing. It really doesn't. It's dependent upon somebody else's reaction to your stimuli. It really is. It's all dependent upon them and how they take it. That doesn't make sense to me. That means you're giving them
too much control of your life.
Yeah, to me, that makes no sense. So I'm going to change everything in my world to how you react to somebody who actually wasn't even invested in a relationship to begin with. That doesn't make sense.
So I'm going to go out here and have sex with this dude to get back at you.
All right.
That doesn't make sense. And I think people need to, again, reassess certain aspects of how they handle disappointment. Because that's all it really boils down to is how are you handling disappointment? Because we have certain expectations, especially about a significant other, right? And when they don't, I guess, live up to those expectations, whatever they may be, realistic or not, we are disappointed. And many times we don't handle that disappointment in the most healthiest way. Sometimes, again, we lash out, we cause arguments, you know what I'm saying? We retaliate. And it's just like, well, for what? Like, how does that help you heal by being vengeful?
At all. It doesn't. Like I said, it's just a release. It soothes your little anger right now, but it doesn't promote healing. It doesn't promote growth. You know what does? Setting boundaries. That's what promotes healing and growth.
Let me tell you something. When you set them boundaries, motherfucking people start dropping like flies because people hate boundaries. And not all people, but toxic people hate boundaries.
And that's what hurts them the most, honestly. Not sleeping with another guy. Them knowing that they can't just hit you at the late night hour and you'll come through or them knowing that they just can't come to your house and open the door and come chill whenever they want to, them actually seeing that you're setting boundaries and you're seeing through their character and you're actually moving on and growing, that's what actually hurts them, because now they have to reassess and be like, whoa, so what am I doing? You get what I mean? Like, that's what it does. But oftentimes, like I said, we feed into this vengeful culture that's been sensationalized by movies and music or what have you, that's what you do. That's what it's cool. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. And no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to scratch his car or blow it up, because you're going to get a case. If you find that, if you get caught, who's going to jail? He ain't going to jail for cheating. That's not illegal. So,
at all.
but keying and breaking and blowing up his car, that's illegal. That's a felony if it's over, was it $600 or something? That's a felony.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? What are you thinking? Like, you have to level up in the proper manner. You have to process this, and you have to go through the healing process. And that doesn't mean it's gonna be fun. It's not gonna feel good.
At all.
That's not what happens.
It's not pretty. It's like when you have a wound. That shit ain't pretty. That shit look ugly as fuck. The scab come and start itching and shit. Like, it's not a pretty process. But at the end of the day, we have to be mindful of how, like, the only person you can control is you. That's it. The best advice one of my mentors gave me, she said, the only thing you could do and the thing you should do is let a man do what he want to do, because his actions are going to tell you exactly where he wants to be. And that was the best advice. Just sit back and, like, not trying to force someone to comply, whether it be like with manipulation or trickery or violence or whatever. Like, just letting people do them so that they make it easier for you to know where you stand in their life. But you can't use violence to try to control the situation. Like, it doesn't work that way. And that's on both ends, male and female. Like, it doesn't work that way. So because and I have many dudes, because we get into an argument and because I'm a professional arguer. Like, I know how to argue, and I will not raise my voice. I will just state my facts. I will reiterate that's the whole point of having an extended vocabulary. So when you get to that point, and then the only thing they can do is try to swell up on you, and I'm just like, see, one, I promise on God, you hit me, nigga, you better kill me, because it ain't gonna go down how you think it will. But we have to teach people to have self-control as opposed to trying to control what's around them.
Yeah, no, because that's a losing battle. That's a losing battle off rip.
You can't win. And then it's like, and this is just me. When I see someone that is clearly out of control in an argument, I feel so sad for them. And I just disengage, because I'm just like, I've already won.
No, and that may be the pride of me talking, but that's the reason why I even get mad at myself when I get that upset, because I let you dominate so much of my time and get to me so much that I actually was physically, because you know me, pretty cool, calm, and collected. If I'm at the point where I'm riled up, like, that means like I've given you so much of my time and attention, and that usually gets me upset, because I love, like, this is one saying that definitely has been a mantra in my life: he who angers you controls you.
Absolutely.
So I take that, like, and I really live that. So what I won't do is allow you to control me. That's what I won't do. And it's like you said, what I can control is me. So I can control how I react to your foolishness or your wrongdoing, what have you. But I'm not going to let you dictate how I do and what I do in my life to put certain things at risk. And I think we have to take that onus. We have to, like you said, we have to teach that and take that onus of self, even in a relationship. Oftentimes in relationships, we feel like it's a total merging and we lose our sense of self, which is not the case. Even in a marriage, yes, even those who believe and subscribe to the Christian belief, right? The Bible says you become one. Yes, you do. That's just significant of the partnership. Doesn't mean you lose yourself in that person. Right. That's not what the Bible says or is actually promoting. And oftentimes we promote that. Even now in the culture that we see, especially with these situationships that we see where people are totally invested in calling each other, this is my wife, this is my... You're giving this person so much access to you that you've only known them for a month. And you're giving them total access to you. Like, we have to be in the business of controlling ourselves and setting these appropriate boundaries.
But you gotta understand that that's a very complex situation, in the dating world. I know you haven't been in the dating scene for a minute.
Wow.
But in the dating world, that's currently, the roles have shifted to a certain extent, right? Depending on the caliber of people you're dating. Where you have where these women are trying to prove that they're wife material or prove, so they're doing all these things in these situationships. You're cooking, you're letting this man sleep at your house. You're doing all these things like every day he at your house, or every weekend he at your house, he around your kids, he doing this. No. See, Tristan has boundaries, right? And that becomes an issue for a lot of men because one, I'm not going to prove my worthiness to you because who the fuck are you? One, if you can't see my worth, you don't need to be in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got to prove I'm not a used car salesman. I'm not proving a motherfucking thing to no goddamn body. And that's where those boundaries come in, right? Like I had this guy, I went on a date with him and we didn't go on another date, but I was very nice about it, right? Like, and I think that's what misconstrue a lot of people, right? Because I don't like you, or I don't want you in like this area of my life, in my personal space, and I keep you at a distance. I don't have to be a bitch about it, right? And I think that confuses a lot of people because they're so acclimated to, oh, when I cut you off, I'm mean and nasty towards you. No, I can cut you off and I can still text you happy birthday.
Right.
That's just how I am, because guess what? The same amount of energy it takes to hate a motherfucker, it takes to love them. And I'm not going to give you that much energy. Like, we're cool, but I don't have to be a bitch towards you. But this guy told me, he was like, because I was just like, I feel like I'm very open and welcoming. He was like, yeah, you like one of them heavy ass doors that motherfucker gotta goddamn put their back into. He's like, you very open, you're very welcome, but it takes a lot of work. I said, those are called boundaries. Everyone can't have access to me. You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's true, but I think it works on both sides though, right? Because there's these dudes out here who are falling into the trap too. These women saying, "Oh, I need you to provide and prove that you can provide me starting right now. Like I just met you, so I need you to pay these bills, pay this, that, pay that, that." And I'm gonna be real. I understand my role as a man, right? And I fall into some of the more conservative roles. So I know my primary role, of course, you know, my wife to be, she works too, and we both out here grinding, right? So, but I also have it in my head, like, of course, I'm going to provide and make sure I'm in a certain way financially. So if something happens, we still be good. That's just me. But what I'm saying is, though, like at the same time, I love the fact that she's a grinder too, and she's self-sufficient and can make things happen. Because you never know what may happen. Let's say I lose my job. I need to know that she could still ride out with us. That doesn't mean I'm just going to fall back and let it happen. But while I'm trying to make it happen, she's going to make it happen as well. So
right,
it kind of has to be both.
That's in a committed dynamic. You can't expect that from motherfucker you're just talking to, right?
No, but that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying. Like just like you're saying, it goes both ways, right? So there's women who are going all out, cooking and cleaning and trying to do it and improve themselves because these guys are kind of quote unquote demanding that, and they're acquiescing to it. It's happening on the other side as well too. Okay, can you pay this bill? Can you do this? Can you take care of that? Whoa, like you were doing fine just before I got here. So what's going on? Like that's what you need.
Now, do you think that's being done in regards to now you have to prove yourself, or that's being done in regards to like a bartering system? Like, I know you don't want to take me serious. I know you just here for sex. So just because you're
no. It happens both ways. It happens both ways. There is a bartering system, but there's a bartering system for the other side too. Right. There's dudes who are here like, okay, I'm gonna give you this. I need this too. The barter system can happen on both sides.
Absolutely.
But I think there's also some of that too. Like, oh, I need to see what his pockets look like, to make sure he could take care and he could do this. So I need him to pay a couple bills here and there and everything like that. So I think it goes both ways. But what to me is a trend I've been seeing that's very much alarming. Yo, I'm sorry. I don't care how good the vibe is, how well we kick it off. I'm not moving in with you in the process of a couple months of just meeting you.
But listen,
Tristan, that's happening.
No,
it blows my mind.
I had dudes like, and this is why even dating, I had to stop allowing guys to come pick me up from my house, right? Because even like, the first day I meet you or whatever, second, third date, I might let you come scoop me from the house, whatever the case may be. And motherfuckers see where you live. And then it's like, oh, you live here? Oh, well, nah, Pooh. First of all, let me tell you something. My daughter would have my head if I let you move in this motherfucker. She's like, who this motherfucker? No. That's not how it works. And I think, to me, that shows that relationship isn't based on anything of substance. Is more of a needed situation. Someone needs a place to stay. Someone needs someone to split bills with. And that too plays into how we view relationships and how it has become so misconstrued over the years. Relationships aren't about companionship anymore. It's about trying to get ahead or trying to motherfucking do other. And it's just like, ew. But no, I've had dudes try to move in with me and I'm like, No.
I don't know you. What's your last name? Like, what's
Even if I know you, guess what? You not moving in here.
it's
You not.
wild to
First of
me.
all, I don't cohabitate. Like that's just something I don't do. Right? I'm sorry. That's just how I move. At the end of the day, I moved in with Genesis' father when I was pregnant, and I think that lasted 4 months, and I moved out. Never ever again did I ever live with another man. And it's just like I'm not doing that. Like if we're married, yeah, we could live together, but to me, like I'm not shacking up for your benefit or my benefit, because now it gets to a point where you just want too much. It becomes high maintenance. I ain't got time for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, it's very alarming just to see at the rate of speed that people are doing it now, and it makes me. And then they wonder, oh, why did our relationship fail? Or why is it this? Why is it that? Well, you guys are, there's levels. It's a process. Everything is a process.
And
You're not going through the process.
that's a major wrecking ball to your boundaries.
Yeah, like you're skipping straight ahead. Like, what are you doing? Like, understand that there are consequences to every action that you take. And in a relationship, you really have to take your time and see everything through. You take shortcuts, you're going to reap the fruit of those shortcuts. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
And it's like people are just, I don't know, I can't find a good man. Well, if you let every Tom, Dick, and Harry come through and lay their head in the house, like, you get what I mean? Like, you don't set the boundaries. Same thing with dudes too, though. Stop treating these women like they're property, or you get what I'm saying? Stop treating them foul. Like, actually, stop turning your head every time a nice girl comes by. Like, stay committed. See this through. Like, there's value in that. There's value in commitment. Like, it's so much work that we have to do, and we're seeing byproducts of this work that's not being done, i.e. Tahiri, what's going on here. Now, of course, we don't know the specifics of their relationships. I don't follow the show enough, and I know you probably don't.
I didn't even know until you showed me that.
Yeah, so, but we're saying at the end of the day, there are certain hallmarks of a functional relationship, and those are the hallmarks that we've mentioned, right? Setting appropriate boundaries, remembering yourself, and that you have to be in control of yourself. Even when you're in a relationship, the responsibility and onus falls on you for controlling yourself, not the other person, right? There's no justification for putting your hands on another person in a relationship, unless, of course, self-defense, right? Meaning they hit you first and you're defending yourself, and even then. But there's no justification for that, you know? And you just really have to kind of honestly step back and be real with yourself and see where this relationship is going, and what is it bringing out in you. I always say that. What type of you is it bringing out? That's also another hallmark of what type of relationship you're in as well.
Exactly, because if someone is tapping into an ugly side of you, and I tell people, so it's certain people I don't engage with. I've done too much work on myself to let you take me back to old me. Like, I've done a hell lot of work. So why would I let any man, woman, child, cat, dog take me back to the old me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's so easily, especially when you're in the process of still trying to master yourself, which is something we'll never do. And we still have certain triggers that we have to be mindful of. But at the end of the day, it becomes difficult to even build and bond when you have a culture of Netflix and chill. Like, that in and of itself takes away so much of the relationship. I think people misconstrue the process of dating is to see a person in different environments and different situations, so they see how they function. But if they're always in a controlled environment, which is i.e. their house or your house, they can alter or manipulate their responses to certain things. So you don't really get to see the true them until later on down the line, where, again, you're invested and you're involved and y'all done moved in and you pregnant and y'all only known each other for 4 months and shit.
Right.
It's too much.
Right. It is, guys. It is. Well, guys, we definitely thank you for joining us. Please understand, when relationships are involved, take your time. Don't rush. Do the work that's required, because if you don't, it's only going to lead to a lot of pain and frustration. So please do the work. As always, guys, you can hit us up on our IG, Hans and Tristan podcast. We are on any platform where podcasts are heard. So that's iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. We're most likely on there. So there's no reason. And also remember, guys, we will not be airing a show next week, but it's an opportunity for you guys to catch up on any shows that you've missed. Absolutely. So we'll also make another announcement on our social media IG page. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. You guys take care.